Hello, welcome to week one of the High Tide Book Club around my book, The Four Noble Truths of Love, Buddhist Wisdom for Modern Relationships. We're going to jump right in this week with truth number one, which is the truth, which is that relationships never stabilize. No one ever tells us this for some reason, but I realized this and was inspired to write this book altogether at a point in my own relationship where we could not get along. If you've ever been in a relationship for longer than a few weeks or a few months, you know what I'm talking about. Nobody did anything. There's nothing to argue about. Nobody had done anyone wrong. It's just we could not get along. We could not communicate. Whatever one said hurt the other or angered the other. When we were trying to decide what to do, where to go, we couldn't figure it out. We even once argued about what time it was. I mean, how do you argue about that? And this went on not for days, not for weeks, but for months. There was just this ambient sense of profound disconnection, one from the other. It was horrible. And I remember sitting at my desk one day just sobbing, thinking, maybe it's over. I don't know how to begin fixing this. I don't even know where to start. And then in that exact moment, my very next thought was, begin at the beginning. At the beginning are four noble truths. Now, for me, as a longtime Buddhist practitioner, this meant something. The entire Buddhist path is based around something called the Four Noble Truths, which I'll explain very briefly in a moment. Nobody has to be a Buddhist to get value from these things, so please don't worry about that. But I was like, oh, begin at the beginning. That's exciting. Okay, the Four Noble Truths. The first truth, life is suffering. Doesn't mean life sucks. It means everything's always changing. And that's very disconcerting. Truth number one. Truth number two is called the cause of suffering, which in this case is grasping, meaning pretending the first noble truth isn't true and attempting to create something stable and lasting and unchanging anyway. The third noble truth is called the cessation of suffering, which is now that you know the cause, grasping, you know the cure. Just stop doing that. And the fourth noble truth is, okay, that's not so easy. How do you do that? And the fourth noble truth is the path to stop grasping and therefore to stop suffering. So I was like, oh, this is so exciting. Maybe this can help me in my relationship. Until I thought about it for 30 seconds, I was like, how's that going to help me in my relationship? So I started noodling around with these truths. What would they look like if they applied to my love life, to love affairs, to relationships? Because as far as I know, that hasn't been written about. So I started noodling with these things and came up with the Four Noble Truths of Love. And as mentioned, this week we're going to jump right into the first one, which is the truth, which is relationships never stabilize. You can be the kindest, most loving and generous and beautiful, kind-hearted human being and get back a blank stare. Or you can be grumpy and disconnected and demanding and, wake up and turn over and look into the eyes of love. There's just no telling. It's alive, so it keeps changing. So this week, we're going to understand that love is an unfolding journey, not a romance, although sometimes romance is there and it's fantastic, which always sort of ends, but of something better than romance, which is intimacy and the invitation of lasting love to reveal more of yourself and receive more of the person you're in love with as a path to lasting love. So I'm excited to go on this journey with you. I can tell you from personal experience that looking at love through this lens has shown me love that is deeper, more interesting, more confounding, more satisfying, more unexpected than anything I could ever have imagined. And from the bottom of my heart, I wish for you the same.